Have you ever stopped to think where your feelings, your moods, your thoughts really come from? What if I told you it's not all in your head? What if a huge part of your mental state is actually being directed from, well, from your gut? Yeah, you heard that right. So let's dive into this absolutely fascinating world of the gut-brain connection. You know how we talk about having a gut feeling or getting butterflies in your stomach? Well, it turns out that's not just some cute figure of speech. It's a real biological clue pointing to this incredibly complex communication network that scientists are only just now beginning to truly understand. The story really starts with a number that's almost too big to even imagine. Trillions. That's how many microorganisms are living inside your gut right this second. This bustling inner city, your microbiome, is doing way more than just digesting your food. It's actively talking to your brain every moment of every day. In fact, this community is so powerful and so influential that scientists have given it a pretty incredible name: your body's second brain. That's right, the second brain. And look, this isn't just a catchy nickname. There's an entire nervous system in your gut that acts with a surprising amount of independence, and it's in a constant two-way conversation with the brain in your head. And that's the key. It is a two-way street. Your gut influences your mind just as much as your mind influences your gut. So the big question is, how do these two brains actually talk to each other? Well, you can think of it like a biological superhighway. Let's break down how the traffic flows. The official term for this whole network is the gut-brain axis, and the most important word there is bidirectional. I mean, we've all known forever that feeling stressed can upset your stomach, right? But the truly revolutionary discovery is how much information is flowing in the other direction, from the gut straight up to the brain. This communication happens on three main channels. First, you've got the vagus nerve, which is like a direct fiber optic cable sending high-speed electrical signals. Second, your microbes act kind of like the body's security team, managing inflammation levels that can directly impact brain function. And third, and this is just wild, your gut bacteria are basically tiny chemical factories brewing up compounds that travel through your blood and act as direct messages for your brain. And that vagus nerve? It's absolutely critical. Get this. In animal studies, when scientists give anxious mice certain probiotics, the mice calm down. But if they sever the vagus nerve, that calming effect completely vanishes. That proves it right there. This isn't some vague concept. It's a direct, physical, hardwired connection. Speaking of those little chemical factories, let's talk about one of the most famous mood molecules out there, serotonin. If you had to guess, where would you say most of it is made? The brain, right? Nope, not even close. A jaw-dropping 90% of your body's serotonin is produced in the gut, and its production is heavily swayed by the good bacteria living there. So let that sink in for a second. The microbes in your gut are major players in manufacturing the very chemical that helps regulate your happiness and well-being. It's incredible. And the factory doesn't stop with serotonin. Nope. Your gut bacteria also make the building blocks for dopamine. That's the molecule for motivation and reward. And they even produce GABA, the main neurotransmitter that basically tells your brain to calm down. Your gut is literally brewing a custom cocktail of brain-altering chemicals 24/7. Now, this all sounds amazing when everything is in balance. But what happens when that superhighway gets a traffic jam? What happens when communication breaks down? This is where the connection to mental health disorders becomes alarmingly clear. The problem is called dysbiosis. You can think of it as an ecosystem in crisis. It's like a beautiful garden that's been overrun by weeds, choking out all the flowers. This kind of imbalance can lead to inflammation in the brain, what we call neuroinflammation. And that's how a problem that starts in the gut is now being directly linked to problems with mental health. So how does that happen? How does a gut problem become a brain problem? Well, one of the main culprits is something called leaky gut. When the lining of your gut gets damaged, inflammatory molecules can escape into your bloodstream, and from there, they can travel all the way up to the brain, get past its defenses, and start causing all sorts of inflammatory trouble. And the scientific evidence is just mounting. For example, look at depression and anxiety. We consistently see lower levels of those key beneficial bacteria. But it's not just that. We're seeing different, distinct patterns, almost like a microbial fingerprint, for other conditions like schizophrenia, ASD, and bipolar disorder. Each one appears to have its own unique signature of imbalance.
Okay, so I know that might sound a little grim, but here is the most exciting part of this whole story. Unlike your genes, your microbiome is not fixed. It's not permanent. You can change it, and that gives us a powerful, brand new way to think about our mental wellness.
The key thing to remember is that your inner ecosystem is dynamic. You are the gardener. Through things you do every day, you can actively cultivate a healthier, more balanced microbial community. And that, right there, is an incredibly empowering idea. So what are our main gardening tools? Two of the biggest are probiotics and prebiotics. Think of it this way. It's pretty simple. Probiotics are like adding new healthy plants to your garden. They're the good bugs themselves. And prebiotics, that's a specialized fertilizer. It's the food that nourishes all the good bacteria you already have, helping them grow strong and flourish.
And of course, nothing shapes your microbiome more powerfully than the food you eat every single day. A fiber-rich diet, like the Mediterranean diet, is like premium-grade fertilizer that promotes amazing diversity. But a typical Western diet, the one high in sugar and processed fats, well, that's like pouring weed killer on your garden. It reduces diversity and feeds all the inflammatory bad guys.
So with all this incredible new science coming out, it begs the question, where is this field going? What does this all mean for the future of mental health care?
Now, scientists are still working hard to separate what's a cause from what's just a correlation, but the path forward seems pretty clear. Personalization. Imagine a future where we have precision probiotics specifically engineered for mental health. They're already calling them psychobiotics, or diets that are tailored to your unique gut signature to optimize your well-being.
This quote from the research really just says it all. We are not just talking about a minor improvement here. Understanding this gut-brain axis has the potential to cause a complete paradigm shift in how we approach and treat mental health, moving us toward a much more holistic view of the body.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought. We are entering a new era where healing the mind might actually begin with healing the gut, where a future prescription for a mood disorder might not be a pill from the pharmacy, but a personalized plan for your plate. That old gut feeling is becoming hard gut science, and it might just change everything.